Hey everybody, it's Andrea Garvey and it's 5 o'clock and I realized it's getting a little dark, so hopefully you guys can see. I was fine-tuning the lighting, and what I'm going to show you today is how I make these really cute little ornaments. I have a whole bunch of different ones that I've done already. I'm going to show you sort of my little step-by-step approach to them. So last year I painted one of these ornaments and I posted about it, and I got a bunch of comments to sell them. So I went back to where I bought my clear ornaments and they were all gone. I think it was like mid-December, and you know, you have to kind of be on it in advance. So this year I set a timer and I bought these clear ornaments, Creative Hobbies. They come from Amazon, of course. There's 12 in a pack and they're clear. So you may see a bunch of people doing ornaments on glass, and for me, you know, glass and me, it will break. I probably would break half of them by now. So this is a pretty sturdy plastic, and they're durable, and you can paint on them just fine, and then when you're done you can varnish them, and then they can hang on the tree and kids can do them, and you don't have to worry about them breaking, and they're not super fragile. They're really fun, they're really easy. So I just wanted to show you a few steps. I have some of them in stages, so don't worry, it won't take all night. But anyway, it's time for the holidays, which is a little crazy to me because it's not even Thanksgiving and there's holiday things happening everywhere. In fact, my first holiday show is on Saturday. So just in time to get these done. So anyway, I start with my clear ornament and then I paint a coat of white on them. The coat of white, it's pretty simple. What I do is I actually paint the ornament on my finger. This is an easy way to hold it. And bear with me while I put some paints down. I just drove back from San Francisco to get here on time for 5. So it's a little hectic, but I'm here. Not as prepped with my paints as I wanted, but here I'm ready to go. So I get my ornament. I take off my little top, and then you can paint, well, you can paint any way you want, but what I like to do is I just really paint it solid. One coat of white. The reason I paint one coat of white is because my next layer of colors, I really want to pop and make them bright. So these ornaments are really fun because you could even paint half of your ornament and then put things in here like little feathers and, you know, little whatevers, glitter, little bits of pieces, but I end up painting the whole thing. And that doesn't take me very long. And so what I do is I paint the whole thing, pretend it's all painted, and I have a whole bunch of these acrylic inks that have this tiny top at the top. So this is a way where I can just let it dry. Now, you may not have these acrylic inks around the house, but really it's anything to kind of just let it dry and not worry too much about it. And you know, I could do a whole bunch of white, go do something for 15 minutes, come back and start the next layer. Excuse me, I have to have a sip of my tea. Hi, Pat. I was dying for my tea and I missed my tea time, so sorry about that. But I need to have it. It's that or wine, and I figure I better start with tea. So, all right, once your white is all done, it's sort of a nice, smooth surface. This is when I start to add in my colors, and I'll show you an example of one where I have a few colors already done. On this one, spent sort of the time I was doing my second layer, I just put 2 colors on things. So anyway, this is a pink and a sort of reddish color. And how I paint it on there is just really simple strokes. I'm not trying to make a pattern, and I'm not trying to create anything more than just marks. So I'm using right here, I think this is backwards actually, the Nova paint, which I love, and it's thick enough. So I am, depending on my color, depending on my brush, I'm sort of just doing these like broad strokes. So like there's one, and just wherever I want to put them. But I just don't connect them. I leave white space around them. That way I can do a couple colors at one sitting, and then I turn it on my finger. So here's a few of the magenta section, and if I wanted to make them wider like this, then I would just use a wider brush and just do it that way. So then when I'm finished, so this is like the first color, this would be the second color. Again, I put them, whoopsie, and let them dry. I'll let them dry for a little bit. So after you've got a few colors down, then you can kind of overlap colors if you want. Let's see what I've got here to show you. Oh, here's one. So this is taking the same idea with the two pinks, and then I added some green and some gold. So what I like to do is get the majority of the ornament painted, and I do leave some white. So this is sort of where the fun happens too, is once I have an ornament with enough colors on it, I think I'll just use this one because this one has two colors on it. This is another one with the gold. The gold's really pretty because it's shiny, and it would look pretty with the lights on the tree. So I have my, that one, but here's one where I'm ready to do my paint pens, which I have to get out. So hold on one second. Alrighty, I have all my paint pens in this handy dandy little containers. So the paint pens are really fun because you can just do anything you want. You could go to town and just start doodling. These are fun ones, the Posca pens. And I just sort of make sure it's working. Put it down there. So let's see if I can do this so you guys can see. So I like to do lines in where the paint is. So here's one where I'm just doing lines, because you can see the lines sort of just add a little texture. I don't even know what that would be. And then the white really works with this magenta color. So I'll just do that. And when I'm doing the paint pens, I'm working on several at the same time. So that way you can kind of coordinate this in stages. I think the other day I had like 12 going on at the same time. That way you can grab your white paint pen. There's another one. And then here's where I'm just doing a little doodle, whatever it is gonna be. Really easy. You wanna make sure though that your surface is pretty dry. So this is a white paint pen. I also have some thicker ones that work great too. See if this gold works, because the gold is kind of fun. So if you have one where you have a little white left over, and again, I'm holding it through my finger because it's easier that way, but you can I think it's probably the easiest way to hold on to it, but you could prop it up if you wanted. So now I'm just doing some little marks, some little circles with this gold paint pen. And I'm just doing that throughout. So let's see what another good color, fun color would be. There's one, oh, this one. So another Posca pen. So one of these I did these sort of, I don't know what you'd call that, little long oblongs or something. So I am just having fun. I'm just making marks, sort of like my paintings. I'm not really thinking about it too much. But this is a great project to do with the kids, with the grandkids, with some girls, a little ladies' night maybe. Just make ornaments. And then you know what? People love handmade things for Christmas. I don't know what's happening there, but whatever, it's funny. People love handmade things for Christmas. So even if it's like a little ornament you want to make and wrap it up with a pretty ribbon and a bow. So here's a little blue. Paint pens are awesome. You can get paint pens on Amazon. You can get them at your local art store. You can get them at any craft place. And I use them all the time. I use them in my paintings. I love them. But here's a couple. So once you have your piece, your ornament covered. So this is one example of paint pens. So I'll take some paint, make a mark, and then when it's completely dry, I'll take a paint pen and draw around it. You just take the top part and you put it back on. It's that easy. And then sometimes you could even take this silver part off and you can put a really pretty ribbon on it. And then it just makes such a cute gift. Here's one where I did my paint pen, a thick paint pen, and I just did a little spiral right here. So another thing you can do is you can leave them matte. These are matte. So they're a little bit of a shine to them, and they would definitely be really pretty under a tree with lights. But you can also brush on some twinkle glitter. And it's easy to use. It's clear, except I got some paint in there. So this is not clear anymore, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. And it gives it, I don't know if you can tell, this has got some on there. It gives an effect of glitter. So let's see, which one do I want to do? I used my sample here. I'm just putting, it's kind of hard to see because it's dark out, but I'm just putting a coat of the glitter on. Let's see how that shows up. This is kind of stinky, but it has a nice shine to it. And then you just let that dry too. You do the same thing. You pop it in here, let it dry, or pop it in wherever you can and let that dry with the glitter. And then that just gives it another effect. So you could do a tree of mixed shiny with glitter or matte. And they're really sweet. They're really fun to do. And so anyway, just thought you guys would like to see a little DYI, and hopefully you guys will be making these little ones at home. Make sure you send me a picture if you do. They're really cute and they're really fun. Anyway, thank you so much for checking in. See ya.